Forward, there is one more argument or criticism levied against the central policy, the very recent UGC guidelines. In the earlier sessions also, regarding the UGC guidelines, there has been a lot of discussion that has been conducted by respective faculties. What is the criticism regarding the UGC guidelines 2025? There is an appointment of the VC, that is Vice Chancellors in the universities. As per the present policy or the practice that is there, whenever a Vice Chancellor is supposed to be appointed, a committee is set up having 3 members. One, right, basically the UGC, second one is from the university, and the third one is essentially the state government representative. But now, as per the new proposal, the state government representation will not be there, and without having a state government representation, a 3-member committee will be set up, which will give
गवर्नमेंट का अगर representation नहीं होगा तो ये फेडरलिज्म के अगेंस्ट चला जाएगा ना. ये तो फेडरलिज्म means basically there should be the representation of states.
Their argument is, these are, right, let's say these kind of universities, many of them are funded by the state. These should have, right, let's say representation. When the vice chancellors are appointed, the committee should have representation of the state governments as well. Otherwise, why we will provide the funding for these kind of universities? And by not having representation of the states, basically the argument is it is a backdoor policy of the central government to have control over, through, right, let's say governor, to have control over the universities where the states are providing the funding. Okay, so that is essentially one argument against centralization. Netra, my dear, this is repeat topic. I know, that's the reason I'm not entering into the details of the UGC guidelines. I know this, that's the reason I gave you a brief of it. Next, commercialization. What is the criticism regarding commercialization in the education sector? Right, commercialization criticism is, on one side, the public funded schools, that is essentially the government schools, are being shut down. According to the data given in the article here, more than 89,000 government schools have been shut down. At the same time, the private sector schools, more and more number of schools are getting established in India. So just remember this particular data, around 89,000 government schools shut down, and more than 42,000 private schools have been opened. And under the national education policy, the argument is this will actually promote more and more private sector schools in India. How so? Let me explain this. Under the national education policy, there is a concept called as school complex. Listen to me carefully. Under this NEP, there is this concept of a school complex. What is this idea of a school complex? Within the same area, multiple levels of infrastructure will be developed, using which different types of education, right, let's say standards or education requirements of the children or the high school, etc., will be met. Right now, the government simply says we have multiple schools spread across a certain region, and this is required. Why? Under the right to education, there is a requirement of having one school in the vicinity of 1 kilometer for certain standards, and in the vicinity of 3 kilometer for certain standards of students. And when I say standard, the medium of students. But the argument is, under NEP, we are not going to